Okay guys, welcome back to another tutorial. Today's tutorial we're going to be learning how to create a slider, a very simple one. It shouldn't take us more than about 10 minutes, maybe even less. We're just going to go through how to create it, and then also how to set a minimum and a maximum value to it, and then also set the value that you want it to start at. Yeah, and then just see how we would use like the current value that it's on, and when you slide it across from one side to the other, how to use that value. So let's jump straight into the to Unity and see how to do that. So all I've got here is a blank project. I haven't done anything to it other than just created. So let us go ahead and start. So first of all we're going to do is we'll want to create a new script, and this is going to be our slider. We'll call it managers for now. So let's spell that right. Slider manager. And that is going to obviously manage our slider. Hence the name. But for now, let's go ahead into our hierarchy here, and if we right click and we go down to UI, and we can then find slider, which is over here, the second one on the list under toggle. So let's go click on that, and that should automatically create us a canvas, which it does. And then also our slider gets put into our canvas. So let's move that into the middle somewhere, because currently it's on the bottom left corner. So when this is finished loading, we will move that to the middle, and then we will start setting the values that we want to it. So let us drag that to the middle like that, and then first of all let's just go and make this a bit bigger, because if we go into our game scene you can see it's quite small. So let's select that, and width we'll say about 200, or not 20, so 200. Or let's make that 400 just to, because we need to see it. So 400 by 50. What does that look like? Okay, so that's fine. And then we could probably just make our, handle slide area. Is it the handle? Yes, it is the handle. We want that to be also about 50. So what does that look like? Okay, so that's good. So now if we play this, you will be able to see that we should be able to slide the handle, which is the circle thing. That's called the handle. We should be able to slide that from left to right, which we can do. But at the moment, obviously nothing happens because we haven't really done anything with this value. But if we click on our slider, you should see in the inspector down here, you can see what the value of the slider is. So at the moment it has a minimum value of 0 and a maximum value of 1. So if we set that to 10 for now, and we drag the slider, you should see the value of the slider. So it's currently at 4.6. And obviously if you go all the way to the end, it'll be 10. And if you go down to the left, it will obviously be 0. So we are going to go and see how we can handle all of that in our script. So let's open up our slider manager script. And in here, first of all, let's go ahead and import, we'll go ahead and copy this. And then we'll go ahead and import using Unity Engine.ui. Just like that, so that we can drag and drop our slider into the inspector by saying public slider, and we'll just call this slider for now. So public slider like that, and then in the start method here we want to go ahead and set our minimum value and our maximum value. So to do that, let's go and say we'll take the reference of the slider that we just created, and we'll go slider dot minimum value is equal to, let's say, about -10. And then we can say the same thing for our maximum value. Instead, let's go and say slider dot maximum value, and for that we will set at +10 like that. And then we can go and say slider dot value is equal to, let's say, about, we'll start it at 7 just so we can see it move, otherwise it will start at 0. So what's that going to do? That's going to set the handle at 7. So if we save that and we go into Unity, which is over here, when this finishes loading and we press play, our range on our slider should increase, and our handle over here, which is the circle part here, that is now going to move into the position where 7 is on that slider. So it's probably going to be round about here somewhere. So let's go ahead and play the game, well, not the game, just go and play the project, and that should move to somewhere over. Did I save it? Okay, so let's go ahead and drag in. First of all, let's go do this. We need to make a reference to our slider manager script. So let's create an empty object here, and we'll call this slider manager. And then on there we want to attach our slider manager script. Did we manager? So we need to rename that like that, otherwise it's not going to pick it up. So that should be fine. So now it should pick it up in our inspector. Just make sure when you name scripts, make sure the name of the actual class is the same as the name of the saved file, so that it picks it up. So let's go try that again. So on our slider manager game object here, we can go ahead and there it is. So we can go and add in our slider manager on there. So now we've got a reference to that script on this game object. We can go and drag in our slider into there. So now when we play the game, obviously we should see the handle move into the position of 7, hopefully. There we go. So now let's go ahead and click on our slider, and you can see here that the current value is 7, and our minimum value here is -10, and our maximum value is 10. So now we can drag this around all the way down to -10, all the way up to 10, and in between, or any value in between. So that is good. And something else we can do is, if you want to, in one of your games or something, if you want to display the value of the slider on the screen, you can easily do this by just creating a public text. Okay, we're gonna have to import Text Mesh Pro because that's how Unity does it now. Import Text Mesh Pro like that, and then instead of just using text, we have to use Text Mesh Pro UGUI. It's a bit long, but that's what we have to use. And for that, we're gonna say slider value, just like that. So whatever the value of the slider is, we're gonna go and set that into the Text Mesh Pro game object reference. So on our slider manager here, we now have a text reference. So let's go ahead in our canvas. Let's go and create a UI Text Mesh Pro. There it is. So let's go and import that. While that imports, we can go back to our script here. And in here, we want to do this in the update field, or in the update method, because this is called every frame. So whenever the value of the slider changes, it's going to pick it up in the next frame and update the text. So we can say slider value dot text is equal to the slider dot value, just like that. So if we save that, and let's jump back into Unity, that should be done. So that's done. So now there's our text. So I'm just going to move this to the side, somewhere over here, like that. And then just to make it look better, I'm just going to center that in the middle. And we will put that at 0 for now, because it's going to be a number that's going to be represented. So actually, I'm going to put this on the left, just like that. You don't really have to, but I like things to look neat. So let us go. What are we going to do now? So we need to drag in that text into our slide manager. So let's drag that in there. And now, whenever we play the what's this? Okay, from float to string. Okay, so here we need to convert that. So let's go here and say slider.value.to string, and convert the value of the slider to a string, because the Text Mesh Pro reference over here only holds a text or a string and not a float or an int or whatever it is. So we have to convert that into a string. So that should be fine now. So let's go ahead and play the project. And when the game, or when the project works, you should see this update to 7, I think. That's still 7, because we still set the value to be 7 in our start. So we can go ahead and delete that, and then I think it will automatically set the value to be 0, I think. Or maybe it's the lowest value, we'll see now. So if we play this, when it finishes loading, we should now see that whenever we move the slider, the value of our text updates every time. So maximum is 10, and the minimum is -10. So that is pretty much it, and that is pretty much how you make a very simple slider. So you'd probably use this in when you want to create things like changing the volume in your projects or in your games and things like that. Anything where you want to have a range between two different numbers, so that's probably where you would use that. But yeah, it's very simple and very quick to create, so hopefully you enjoyed this video and hopefully it was helpful to you. So if it was, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you want to, and don't forget to like the videos. And yeah, we'll have more videos coming out every weekday. But for now, that's it for this video, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.